receiving the new UK Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Elizabeth Truss. And she had defeated Corona some months ago. It was therefore a shock and not expected. In her long reign of 70 years on the throne, she has witnessed the huge metamorphosis of the political landscape in the world, such as the death of Joseph Stalin, 1953, the independence of the former colonies of Britain, starting with Sudan in 1955 and Ghana in 1957, the independence of the other colonies formerly controlled by France, Portugal, etc., the rise of Fidel Castro in Cuba, etc., etc. With the former British colonies, they metamorphosed into the Commonwealth of States, with the exception of a few of them, such as Sudan, Burma, etc. I first interacted with her personally in 1987, a good 37 years ago, when she received me at Buckingham Palace on my way to the Commonwealth Heads of State meeting in Vancouver, Canada. The meeting was attended by the meeting of the Commonwealth in Canada was attended by some of the iconic Commonwealth leaders, such as Lee Kuan Yew, Mahathir Mohamad, Daniel Arap Moi, Brian Mulroney, Margaret Thatcher, Robert Mugabe, Rajiv Gandhi, etc. She, of course, opened our conference, and in her use of the soft power she possessed, forced the late Mzee Arap Moi and myself to sit on the same dinner table with her presiding, in spite of the tension between Kenya and us at that time. Only last night, I saw her driving in a ceremonial car with Nelson Mandela, a long-time victim of colonialism in South Africa. I also saw her pictures visiting Northern Ireland and shaking hands with the former Irish Republican Army leaders, and yet that organization had planted bombs that had killed her uncle, Field Marshal Lord Mountbatten. That was part of her contribution to the mutating world efforts for reconciliation. When she received me at Buckingham Palace, first time in 1987, I told her that the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Chogum was the only international meeting where we do not have the inconvenience of using interpreters that I have attended. This is a fact that those who see far could use for the benefit of all Commonwealth members in the areas of trade, investment, tourism, and anti-terrorism. Ever since 1952, I've been following her leadership journey through the media initially, and later on through direct interactions in the CHOGM meetings, in the Commonwealth Heads of Government meetings. My grandmother, Ruth Bachira, an aunt to my mother, was the first to show me her picture in 1952, saying in our language, Omugabe Kazomusya Nakeshikato. Meaning the new queen is a young girl. In spite of difference of color and race, you can always tell people's different ages. During the CHOGM meeting in Uganda, we were happy to host the top leaders of the British royal family. These were Her Majesty the Queen, her husband Prince Philip, and Prince Charles, who is the new king now. Prince Charles visited Jinja and was cheered all the way, and Prince Philip visited the Queen Elizabeth National Park. Her Majesty was welcomed rapturously between Entebbe and Kampala, although it was late in the evening. I salute her contribution to the Commonwealth. The Ugandans, Mama Janet and myself, send our most heartfelt condolences to His Majesty King Charles III, our good friend in the conservation of nature, the royal family, the British people, and the citizens of the Commonwealth. May her soul rest in eternal peace, the peace granted by the Almighty God of all of us. I thank you.
Now, a condolence book has been opened at the British High Commission in Uganda as part of celebrating the life of Queen Elizabeth II. British High Commissioner to Uganda, Kate Airy, has been among the first people to sign, describing the fallen Queen as a great leader of all generations. She expressed this during a press briefing at the British High Commission of Uganda at Kamocha in Kampala.
So sad a mood that even the flags expected to fly at half-mast are coiled onto the poles despite the blowing wind. This was the situation at the British High Commission in Kampala, Uganda's capital city, as the world comes to terms with the passing of the Queen of England, Her Royal Highness Elizabeth II. A condolence book has been opened up. Kate Airy, the British High Commissioner to Uganda, has been the first to sign in the book.
To be able to offer an opportunity for people to express that respect, that connection, we felt was very important. So we've opened up a full condolence book and we are anticipating people from across Ugandan society to wish to sign that.
The High Commissioner's memory of the Queen could take one a whole day or even a month to talk about. But prominent among the recollections of the Queen are the leadership capacities that saw her work with over 10 prime ministers in her 70-year reign.
She was a remarkable leader, and I think many of us across the world have a very personal relationship with Her Majesty the Queen, one that we've often reflected on. I think even though at 96, I think this is still a shock to many of us, including us here at the British High Commission.
This is why Kate Airy says that all leaders across the world, including herself, have a lot to learn from the fallen Queen of England.
Here in Uganda, you know, I think I may have touched on it, but her connection with Uganda was very real. You know, those 2 visits, her presence here at Chogum. You know, I hope also that people can sort of be able to get a sense of a personal connection with Her Majesty the Queen from her time here in this country as well.
A new Prime Minister was got just 2 days before her passing, and a new king was pronounced just a few hours after her death. This shows how organized the political system is in the United Kingdom. Whereas there may be some adjustments, not much will change as a 10-day period of mourning officially begins.
Today is a profoundly sad day for the people of my country, for the realms, for the Commonwealth, and indeed for the whole world. Her Majesty the Queen was the longest reigning monarch, 70 years of service to my country.
Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, known by her royal name as Queen Elizabeth II, was the Queen of the United Kingdom. Her reign lasted 70 years and 214 days long, being the longest ever recorded in the history of the British monarch. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Charles Philip is the new king of the United Kingdom at the age of 73 after the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, who reigned for 70 years. Queen Elizabeth's rule was significant in the sovereignty of Uganda, and analysts argue that Uganda can borrow a leaf from the United Kingdom's state of running affairs.
Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96 at Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands. At the time of her death, Queen Elizabeth had reigned for 70 years. She will be succeeded by Charles Philip Arthur George III, who automatically ascended the throne upon the Queen's demise.
And we wish King Charles III a bountiful reign.
Queen Elizabeth exhibited neutralism during her reign, and this is a challenge to King Charles Philip to carry forward.
And she served well, in my view, because she was not controversial, quite disciplined, very elegant. She established excellent relations with Africa and the rest of the world.
He may face challenges, that is King Charles III, in the sense that he is coming in a wider context when globally republicanism is taking root.
Uganda, as a member state of the Commonwealth, cannot be distanced from the significant reign of Queen Elizabeth. It is during her reign that Uganda became a sovereign state.
In her 70-year reign as monarch, as head of Great Britain and the Commonwealth, she has carried out her public responsibilities with courage and dignity.
Queen Elizabeth, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth, Uganda regained her independence without fighting, without a war, and I think that is something to remember.
Her Majesty, the Queen of England, paid a visit to Uganda in April 1954 and in November 2007 for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
She commissioned the Queen Elizabeth National Park, upon which her name, it is named. So Uganda at least will continue to remember Queen Elizabeth because of those visits.
Makerere University historian Professor Mwambusi Andebesa argues that Ugandans have lessons to learn from the affairs of United Kingdom monarch.
There has to be checks and balances. The legislature in Uganda also has to exert its power and authority and recognize that it's supposed to be sovereign and it is a representative of the people, so that we have checks and balances. Hitherto, in most cases, some analysts say our legislature has accepted to be in the role of a mere rubber stamp. Whereas in England, the legislature is very powerful because of its history of removing the executive, bring it back, on the terms of the legislature.
The Queen's state funeral is expected to take place at Westminster Abbey in less than 2 weeks, though the exact day by press time was yet to be confirmed by Buckingham Palace. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
The death of Queen Elizabeth II has triggered changes to the roles and titles of other members of the royal family. Most notably, there is a new king, the Queen's eldest son, Charles, who has chosen to go by King Charles III. We have more details in this report.
Prince Charles officially became king as soon as his mother passed away. He would have been addressed as Your Majesty the King the moment that she stopped being Your Majesty. It's a seamless transition. And in fact, the royal standard, which would have represented the Queen, will now represent the King. And that's why the royal standard doesn't go to half-mast. It stays up in recognition of the fact that there is continuity of monarchy. When Charles becomes king, Camilla, his wife, will become the Queen Consort. There'll also be changes in the titles of other members of the royal family. Prince William will become the Duke of Cornwall, and in time will be invested as the Prince of Wales. There's also precedent for changes to the titles of the grandchildren. That's the children of William and Kate, Harry and Meghan, Eugenie and Beatrice. Currently, not all of them have the title of Prince or Princess, but it may be in Charles's gift to change that.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
Charles's first official duty is to address his new nation, and he'll do that in a televised address. And then the following day, he'll bring together his Ascension Council, made up of privy councillors, his advisors, and they will gather and they will formally ratify his position as king. And at the end of that, the heralds will go up onto the roof of St James's Palace, a wonderful medieval palace in London, in their full regalia with their trumpets, and they will proclaim the new king. Over the coming days, the new king will travel to various areas of his realm to meet his new subjects. He'll meet the political leaders in the devolved governments. He'll also meet religious leaders and hold services of thanksgiving at various cathedrals. But he'll also meet the people that he is now going to be serving as king. The circumstances in which Charles has found out that he's become king are very different to those when his mother Elizabeth found out that she was taking the throne. She was much younger when her father, King George VI, died in 1952 in Sandringham, the royal estate in Norfolk. At the time she was in Kenya, so it took a while for the news to get to her, and then she was delayed coming back to the UK because of a thunderstorm. Charles is in his 70s. He's already the oldest heir to the throne in the UK, and he has had decades to prepare for this moment. The other senior members of the royal family will be intimately involved in events between the Queen's death and her funeral. As was the case with Prince Philip and other royals before him, close family members will accompany the coffin on foot as it makes its final journeys. Her children will attend the lying in state and stand vigil around their mother's coffin. Traditionally, the coronation of the new monarch takes place at least 6 months after the passing of the old one. This is to allow for an appropriate period of mourning. So we expect the coronation of King Charles to take place within the next year.
Now, during her 2007 Chogaman second visit to Uganda, the Queen of England, Her Majesty Elizabeth II, had a visit to Kitante Primary School in Kampala on a private tour which only lasted 45 minutes. To recall the moments of this visit following the demise of Her Majesty, we interacted with one John Baguma, a teacher at Kitante, who by then was at the helm of the preparation which ushered in the Queen at the school.
24th November 2007, Her Majesty the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, visited Chitanti Primary School in Kampala, a visit which is still fresh in the memories of those who were at the school at that time.
2 weeks before that, there are some people who came from Scotland to teach us the Queen's anthem. So the teachers and the children sang the Queen's anthem when she arrived, plus our anthems, and then the classes that had been prepared to entertained her, and after 45 minutes, she left.
A teacher at this school, John Baguma, was among the few chosen ones who witnessed this historical visit.
It was a very, very interesting moment. We made rehearsals for almost 3 months, but what was very important in those rehearsals was the timing. We wanted to fit in the 45 minutes that she had allocated to us. So whatever activity that was prepared for her on that particular day was meant to fit in the 45 minutes.
The 45-minute visit by the Queen at the school is still among the fresh memories carried by Mr. Baguma.
There is even a point where the British High Commission and his entourage had to come in here to practice as if now the Queen had come herself, entered the gate, then we started the timing, they came to the amphitheater, saw the entertainment, but the gist behind it was to see whatever we had prepared was fitting in the 45 minutes that she had scheduled to be with us.
We asked him why this golden chance was extended to Chitanti Primary School and why it was deemed private.
We were chosen because our schools was built for purposes of teaching the children of the ambassadors and high commissioners, and it was built by the British. Actually, when you look at the structures of our buildings, they are not anywhere in this country.
15 years down the road, the school has lived to witness the fruits of this vista. Several collaborations between the school and the British High Commission have been initiated.
There is a walkway that was built purposely for her. Like I told you in the other language, because of her age, she could not climb any stairs. So when she came here, we had to create a walkway where she could walk straight to this place without climbing many stairs. So that walkway now is called the Queen's, we call it the Queen's Way. There is also a plaque there in the amphitheater. There's also her portrait in the head teacher's office, which she signed.
Upon receiving the news of the demise of the Queen on Thursday 8th September 2022, the school is joining the rest of the world to mourn the head of the Commonwealth.
But the condolence book that has been opened up at the reception for the old boys and old girls who would like to come and condole with us. The flags also are flying at half-mast. We have got the school flag and the national school's flag and the national flag. They are all flying at half-mast for now until the burial.
Queen Elizabeth II was pronounced dead on Thursday 8th September 2022, making it the end of an era which has conquered the English monarch for decades. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Now, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has met Stephen Omolo, who is the new Global Chief Executive Officer of Plan International, and appreciated the work done by the organization towards the development of children and young people in Uganda for the last 30 years.
Stephen Omolo, the Ugandan-born who is now the Global CEO of Plan International, is in the country with, among others, joining in the celebrations to mark 30 years of Plan International's existence in Uganda and the launch of the 5-year country strategy for Uganda. He paid a courtesy call on the First Lady at State House in Nakasero and was accompanied by Iveta Over, the Country Director Plan International Uganda, the Early Childhood Technical Advisor Jessica Oyom, and Diana Tibesigwa, the Influencing and Communications Manager. The meeting was also attended by Honorable Peter Ogwang, the Minister of State for Sports, and senior technical officers from the Education and Sports Ministry, led by Permanent Secretary Katie Lamaro. The First Lady acknowledged the passion Plan International has for the children of Uganda, especially those living in the slums.
We hope to work with Plan International more and more. We had this offer from Qatar, and they were offering to work with us with another NGO. But because I knew Plan International, I had visited one of your projects downtown where they are working with some schools in slum areas, and I saw the passion the leaders have for children, and so we insisted that we work with Plan International. So I was happy to see that the project is now starting to be implemented, and through Plan International. So I'm hoping that we will continue to work together more and more as we perhaps get more funding from donor agencies. But I want to thank you for what you have done all these 30 years for Uganda. And I pray that God will continue to bless you and to use you for our people.
Plan International's global CEO, Stephen Omoro, said that tremendous progress and impact has been realized from the work that Plan International has done with children in Uganda in the last 30 years. He pledged that in their new 5-year country strategy for Uganda, Plan International will continue to invest in early childhood education.
A child who is given fulfillment of life and a child who is supported by many, including the community, can rise to become also a chief executive officer. In our country strategy for Uganda, Iveta mentioned that we have been here for the last 30 years. We have seen tremendous progress and impact on the work we do with children, particularly on early childhood education. My commitment coming here as the team leader for this organization, and my commitment to the team in Uganda, and my commitment to the meetings I had yesterday, and now my commitment today before you, Mama, is that we will continue to make investments in early childhood education.
Thank you.
And I would like to ask you with a lot of humility to support us, because the formative years of a child is what determines the future for that child.
He also acknowledged the tremendous development and growth in the country across all sectors and appreciated government's emphasis on education for all through the universal primary and secondary education programs. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
An elaborate military farewell ceremony for Kenya's outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta has taken place today at Ulinzi Sports Complex in Nairobi. The Kenyan Defence Forces bid farewell to their Commander-in-Chief with a guard of honor and symbolic gifts. The event is in line with the Kenyan military tradition and customs.
Wanaregesha shukrani zao kwa kuweza kuweka sahihi ule mswada wa wanajeshi waliostaafu. Umeimarisha hali zao na za familia zao. Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa unyenyekevu tunakuomba utukubalie zawadi hii. Mheshimiwa Rais, zawadi inayofuata inawasilishwa kwako na jeshi letu la wanamaji. Zawadi yenyewe ni ya mbuzi aina ya boa. Asili ya mbuzi hawa ni Afrika Kusini. Mheshimiwa Rais, kuna mbuzi wawili pale, kuna beberu na mbarika. Mheshimiwa Rais, beberu hukua na kufikia uzani hadi wa kilo 160, naye mbarika hukua na kufikia uzani hadi wa kilo 110.
UN Women, in partnership with the Office of the Prime Minister, has pledged to promote women's empowerment through the advancement of sustainable development goals. The new UN Women Country Representative in Uganda, Paulina Chiwangu, while meeting the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, also committed to support Uganda's humanitarian response and other efforts to advance women and girls in Uganda.
Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has said that Uganda has made significant progress in promoting women empowerment with strategic support from President Museveni. She said government started a parish development model to empower and tackle poverty at the lowest level.
Helping our women, especially the widows, in the markets. Those who have started small in the markets. We have our young children or women or young girls who got pregnant during COVID.
This meeting took place at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala. UN Women is an international entity for gender equality and empowerment of women.
For the First Lady needs support in that regard. For me, I need support to help those. Most of those women in markets are widows. Others are single mothers, and therefore I have initiated that program here in my office.
It has been working with the government of Uganda to advance domestication of global and regional gender equality frameworks. On her part, the UN Women New Country representative in Uganda, Pauline Chiwangu, spoke highly about the parish development model. She said the Uganda government is among the few countries that have domesticated the Sustainable Development Goals. The UN Women representative particularly recognized President Museveni for his tremendous support towards women empowerment.
Congratulating you.
Thank you.
As the first ever Prime Minister for the Republic of Uganda. Me as a woman, me as a representing UN Women, we are very proud and we really appreciate the efforts that His Excellency, the President of Uganda, is making.
In a related development, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja met the Venezuelan Vice Minister for Africa, with whom they discussed a wide range of bilateral issues affecting the two countries.
Nicolas Maduro, first, he sends his fraternal greetings to His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni,
Yes.
and how we admire all the changes, all the advances of Uganda under his leadership. Secondly, you must be aware at this moment, the other instruction is to open an embassy here.
Oh.
You already deliver a letter from our Minister of Foreign Affairs to your Minister of Foreign Affairs asking, of course, we need the approval of the government of Uganda.
The Prime Minister informed her guest about preparations a government is undertaking to host the non-aligned movement due to take place in Uganda.
Then we need to improve the cooperation between you and our country in a number of areas. Agriculture, aquaculture, mining and minerals, and agro-processing, oil and gas, and tourism, because we are told.
She encouraged investors from Bolivian Republic of Venezuela to come and set up businesses in Uganda. Venezuelan Vice Minister for Africa appreciated the political and economic changes Uganda has gone through. He said there was need to start direct flights to Africa as part of an effort to consolidate the economic cooperation. He pledged total support to the Ugandan government as it prepares to host coveted non-aligned meetings.
Beautiful place. There was a lamp.
Beautiful place.
October Mukaga Millennium Garden Sazibuaya October Munanaji Montelembara Kumina 10 October 40 Poto Muchisawe Abidi Mbili October Bale Sports Center Kumtualu Kumo Yebe Mtuale Santo Emeza milioni yemo Wabula Bantualu Kumia Abana Gula Tiketi Wakosa MTN Momo Bandiagusa Sule Mkomitano Binamina Mitendo Amo Center Hiva Motors Galaxy FM Radio 4 Kagwila Wo MTN
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives lives disrupted, when businesses closed, and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Cooking with electricity is now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
My name is Charles Peter Maiga, the Katikiro of Buganda. It's very important to groom and nurture our children into responsible citizens. But that doesn't mean that we've got to beat them up, got to hurt them. I think we need to groom our children into people who have self-worth. That will enable us to have citizens who will be responsible and who will also look at violence with disdain.
Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Welcome back from that break. And now with more news, the Leadership Code Tribunal has developed and launched its first strategic plan for the period of 5 years, which is aimed at uploading and strengthening the institutional capacity of the Leadership Code Tribunal. The strategic plan is aligned with Uganda's development policy context, which encompasses the Sustainable Development Goals. We have more details in this report.
The Inspector General of Government, Kamya, has committed to conduct a lifestyle audit on government officials whose wealth does not match their known income. Kamya made these remarks during the launch of the strategic plan by the Leadership Code Tribunal at Hotel Africana in Kampala.
Is that the big fish are very slippery. When you take them to court, court requires you to adduce evidence beyond reasonable doubt. Evidence is like, yes, I saw him being given a bribe.
We've moved on to a stage where we are hearing cases, and so far we've been getting many cases of breaches of the Leadership Code of Conduct. Specifically, we've mainly got cases dealing with abuse of property and non-declaration, and also more are coming in.
Kamya says that it is very hard to catch the corrupt top government officials, and so she has to pursue the lifestyle audit approach.
Negotiate under the table, they do their negotiations. You can never know. You just see a lifestyle that you cannot account for. But we are working out a strategy to have a legal framework.
The plan reaffirms the Leadership Code Tribunal mandate as provided for in the Leadership Code Act.
Functional LCT, according to the plan, will undoubtedly enable the state to regulate the public service, to contribute to socio-economic development by ensuring that there is transparency and accountability through adjudication of breaches of the leadership code.
It also developed through a participatory process, which includes consultation with different stakeholders.
To lay a good foundation for us to hear cases, we began off by engaging in the amendment of the law, which needed to be amended.
The Minister in charge of Ethics and Integrity, Rosalie Akelli, affirmed government commitment to fight corruption.
Corruption needs to be fought from the grassroots up to the top management. We cannot only say that corruption is up here in the top management when we know that corruption is also down there. So the message I can give the people and the citizens of Uganda is, let's work together with all the agencies fighting corruption and with the government to see to it that the cancer called corruption is eliminated.
The Leadership Code Tribunal was established under Article 235A of the Constitution. Members are appointed by the President acting on the advice of the Judicial Service Commission with the approval of the Parliament. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Thank you.
Now, for something a little bit interesting, Mercury University College of Computing and Information Technology has acquired a smart classroom facility valued at $50,000, approximately 1.6 billion Uganda shillings. The facility has also received a technological robotic to assist lecturers in teaching by performing functions such as recording student attendance, reading, among other things. Take a look.
Mercury University's College of Computing and Information Technology has acquired a smart classroom facility that can facilitate online teaching. The Vice Chancellor, Mercury University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, launched the facility and emphasized the need for all teaching institutions to invest in technology.
This is the technology of the future. And if we want our university and our country to be part of the future, we must embrace this technology. It means that we must do everything necessary to roll out these smart classrooms in all the colleges.
The establishment of the smart teaching facility has been funded by the Chinese government and UNESCO International Center for Higher Education Innovation.
The rest of the world is moving. By having this infrastructure support, we love to work with Makerere University to have the digital transformation of higher education in Uganda. Robotics, artificial intelligence, the motion detection cameras and other technologies that we brought here are here to experiment, paving the way that we are going to walk for long years and decades to come.
Robotic technology has also been adopted by Mercury University to assist lecturers in teaching by performing functions such as recording students' attendance, reading, among other things, since it can be programmed according to user preference.
So we are showing that not only
The Principal College of Computing and Information Technology, Professor Tony Oyana, expressed optimism about the technology.
Even if this resource can accommodate 50 people, you can broadcast to a phone, to a computer elsewhere. As long as they have internet, they can tune in. Just like a radio is headquartered here in Kampala, and you have so many listeners. So the same thing can happen with our smart classroom.
Despite the heavy costs involved, Mercury University Vice Chancellor has expressed willingness to see to it that all colleges at the institution have smart classroom facility. Adia Nakote, Mary Namkose, UBC News.
The performance monitoring of Emyoga SACCOs in Bugweri district shows the presidential initiative is registering gradual social economic transformation. Bugweri district, located in Busoga sub-region, received seed capital of 560 million Uganda shillings by the Microfinance Support Center.
While sensitizing SACCO members of Bugweri district, State Minister of Microfinance Haruna Kasolo urged the residents to embrace government's programs through which poverty will be addressed.
twogeremu amaanyi mu Bugweri oba tebuliyo bwavu.
According to Rachel Magola, the district woman MP, poverty will be addressed if government establishes more job-creating initiatives from which income at grassroots level can be reaped.
N'okusaba kw'abakulembeze sabo minisita abakulembeze bali kumbali abalonde abakulembeze abalonde niife members of parliament tuli kumbali tuwaida mu oversight olingirira byotamba nange gyebyayingira wabula nibwokyogerako so munteekateeka yaife y'emyoga twongere okuyingiza abakulembeze abalonde munteekateeka b'emyoga.
Despite Bugweri being regarded among the poorest districts in the country, beneficiaries of the Emyoga program have testified to its positive impact since forming beneficiary circles.
Twakubiriza banaife abakali kunjira sako yaife twata mu bidumbize twaja mu byalo twabasomesa era bakola ki batujoininga ku sako yaife mu Bugweri constituency tailors sako ne kasinze kola bulungi era omwoga gwaife no kugemerera district yona tukoze bulungi tulina aba beneficiaries bangi era bakola bulungi esente tudibanda era abantu badituwa
twalinga tujja twewolanga esene mu banka batukuba ebifaananyi twatayo ebyaife kati saawa eno twetolola ku esente yaife twakozesa twaizayo obusente obutontono era butukozesa tusomesa abaana era tuli bulungi tutukadula ne banka edisinga okutayo ebyaife twalekeraawo tuli mu myoga eri kutukolera bulungi teri kutusumbwa banaife abasigere abatali kwenda kusasula nibonkaye abakusasula tuli kutambula bulungi era tulikusika abantu bangi bali kuyingira.
Bugweri district received seed capital of 560 million shillings, disbursed 560 million shillings, and had total savings of 205,421,630 shillings, and total amounts loaned were at 610,665,000, with total monies recovered at 86,037,800 shillings. Wadulo Makanol, Kagoro Joshua, in Bugweri district.
Judiciary has sworn in 50 Justice of Peace prison officers at the function held at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala. The Acting Director, Correctional Services Uganda Prison, T.O. Milton, asked the Judiciary to attend to petty offences which will help to reduce on the congestion in prisons. The function graced by Justice Alexandra Konge on behalf of the Principal Judge.
With the aim of extending justice to prisoners, 50 prison officers at the ranks of Assistant Superintendent of Prisons have taken the oath of office to serve as Justices of Peace in Uganda Prison Services.
I, Ayot Enid Sarah,
solemnly affirm that I will well and truly exercise the judicial functions.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda.
So help me God.
At the function held at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala, Justice Alexandra Nkonge graced the occasion on the behalf of the Principal Judge Dr. Flaviana Nzeija.
Oftentimes convicted prisoners are transferred from remand prisons to farm prisons before then file their appeals within the mandatory days. Because they cannot afford lawyers on account of their poverty, the time within which to appeal elapses before they have filed their appeals. There is therefore no doubt that as Justices of the Peace, you are holding an office of honor and great responsibility to which your institution belongs is to have access to justice by the poor and vulnerable members of our society.
Nkonge says the appointment of the officers is timely and urged them to desist from discriminatory tendencies.
I implore you to perform your duties without fear, favor, ill will, or affection. You should in fact sensitize the inmates at your units on how they can access the courts, either by way of bail application or by way of late appeals.
An Office of Justice of Peace shall have the same powers and duties as a magistrate to administer oaths and affirmations, to release on bail, to remand, among other powers.
Now that they have taken the oath, they will be able to adjudicate cases in our setting. Those are disciplinary cases, internal disciplinary cases, they will be able to adjudicate. Yeah, minor offenses, these are These are just cases like theft, like trespass. I was just appealing to the judiciary, which they're already doing, to make all the efforts such that these remands are churned into convicts, because our congestion basically is caused by the high number of remands.
In attendance was the Acting Director of Correctional Services, Uganda Prison Services, Milton Tio, Her Worship Rosemary Balebe as the Acting Chief Registrar, His Worship Timothy Lumunye, legal officers from Uganda Prison Services, the Judiciary spokesperson Jamson Kalimani, among others. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a short break but returns after these messages.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy. Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break. And now into the sports scene. Uganda is bound to benefit by leaps and bounds from the African Zone 5 Regional Anti-Doping Organization training of trainers seminar that has climaxed in Kampala. It was attended by participants from 12 countries and tutored by experts from United Kingdom Anti-Doping.
Following sustained success at major global contests, especially in athletics, Uganda entered anti-doping Class B, which calls for consistent monitoring of athletes by the nation to avoid doping violations.
We also have countries that have potential to go to the category A, because when your athletes perform, there is that times people think that athletes are not clean. So that's why it's very important that people educate our athletes. They know what their rights are, they have information on this, and of course the people who work with them, the coaches who work with them. There's at times an athlete is caught on the wrong foot because he doesn't know.
But the doping subject is still a virgin area to many. There have been helped now by hosting of an Africa Regional Anti-Doping Organization training of trainers seminar at the Sheraton Hotel in Kampala.
Education right now is a very critical step for all programs, because
You are not allowed right now by the World Anti-Doping Code to test an athlete before you educate. Athletes have the right to receive anti-doping education before they begin to be tested. So for our region, where our program is still at infancy, it is a very important process that we are doing here, because we are capacitating the people who will go out there to ensure that all athletes are receiving anti-doping education.
Uganda had 3 participants, including Dr. Nana Nakidu, Christopher Mbowa, and Dr. Aya Nachitanda.
And this rates us higher because we did not have trainers to the educators in anti-doping issues. But right now, at least we have capacity to train more trainers to get into the grassroots projects to make sure that our athletes are protected right from the grassroots projects. By the time they get to the elite group, at least they have all the information handy with them.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but before we leave, let's first take another recap of the top stories of the night. And in our top stories, Museveni eulogizes Queen Elizabeth II, says she was Uganda's friend. Makerre's professor speaks highly of Queen Elizabeth's support to Uganda. Premier Nabanja advises Kampala leaders to embrace government programs. And in sports, the UOC to ensure athletes understand anti-doping protocols. Would like to thank you so much for your company this evening. Of course, UBC's programming does continue. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on Sign Language Interpretation. We wish you a blessed night and a wonderful weekend.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift, buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Corporate Games Season 2022-2023 is here. Don't miss lots of fun and networking. 12 sports disciplines and over 2,000 participants with over 40 corporate companies in one place. This happens every first Sunday of every month.
For more information, contact info@corporategamesug.com or visit our website www.corporategamesug.com, or you can call us on 0700 339 048 or 0785 642 953. Don't miss on Sunday, 11th of September 2022 at Chambago